Have you ever noticed that the strongest men are not the ones chasing, begging, or proving themselves, but the ones who can walk away? In love, just like in life, power shifts the moment you stop running after what doesn't serve you. Most men enter a woman's presence like petitioners at a throne, eager to please, desperate to be chosen. But desperation is weakness, and weakness is always sensed. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom begins when you no longer hunger for someone's approval. When you remove yourself from her game, you remove the very fuel that feeds her ego. Suddenly, the balance changes. The woman who seemed untouchable begins to feel something unfamiliar, the loss of control. When you stop providing attention, energy, and validation, her reality shifts. The same woman who once dismissed you now feels a void. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Your silence is not weakness. It's a weapon. It tells your subconscious. Here stands a man who does not need to beg. That presence, calm, self-contained, disciplined, is far more commanding than any words. Imagine a man entering a room without hurry, without nervous laughter, without leaning forward to impress. He does not announce himself loudly. His presence speaks for him. Just as in war, the strongest army does not need to show every weapon, restraint is enough to command respect. Epictetus reminded us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. You don't need to convince her of your worth. The man who can walk away without fear of loss is the man who cannot be conquered. This is the beginning of true control. Not control over her, but mastery over yourself. Women rarely control men with strength. They use psychology, attention, and delay. A smile today, silence tomorrow. A reply that once came instantly now takes hours. Plans are canceled, energy fades, and suddenly the man is left chasing. Most men panic in this space. They text more, call more, try harder, and in that effort, they lose themselves. Seneca warned, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." The man who scatters his energy becomes weak. The more he chases, the more power he gives away. But when a man finally awakens, he no longer plays this game. He stops reaching first, stops begging, stops proving his worth. His silence confuses her because she has seen countless men fold under the same test. They always return quickly, desperate to win back her attention. Yet this time is different. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The man who controls his impulses has already won. Instead of reacting, he holds steady. Instead of begging, he detaches. His refusal to play breaks the cycle. At first, she pretends not to care. She acts as if she hasn't noticed. But beneath the surface, panic sets in. He'll come back, she tells herself. They always do. But when the silence continues, the illusion cracks. For the first time, she faces the possibility of real loss. This is the quiet victory of a man who values self-respect above approval. Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control. Walking away is not about punishing her. It is about proving to yourself that your dignity is not for sale. When a man does not return, something rare happens inside her. At first, she convinces herself it's a game, that he is trying to make her jealous. But as days pass in silence, doubt creeps in. For the first time, she feels the sting of rejection. Men live with rejection constantly. It hardens them, teaches them resilience. But for a woman used to being pursued, the silence is unbearable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but your estimate of it." Her pain comes not from you, but from the shattering of her own illusion. She begins to question her value. Long hours in front of the mirror, searching for flaws. Was she not enough? Did he find someone better? These thoughts eat at her pride. And when pride is wounded, jealousy follows. She stalks his page, checks who likes his photos, wonders if another woman has taken her place. Epictetus reminded us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Instead of acceptance, she chooses comparison, envy, and obsession. The same woman who once dismissed him now becomes consumed by his absence. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," and indeed her imagination becomes her tormentor. She imagines his life without her, imagines him moving on, imagines herself forgotten. In this quiet storm, the balance of power has shifted. This is why silence is so powerful. Not because it hurts her, but because it forces reflection. It makes her confront the one truth she tried to avoid. A man she thought she controlled has truly walked away. When panic turns to pain, she begins to rewrite the story. To protect her pride, she convinces herself he was too needy. I wasn't that interested. I could do better. This rationalization shields her ego. But it cannot change the truth. She lost control over a man who would not bend. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And in this moment, she wastes her energy convincing herself of lies instead of facing reality. She tells her friends she ended things, yet deep down, she knows the power was taken from her hands. Unable to sit alone with her thoughts, she seeks escape. She rushes into another man's arms, not out of love, but out of fear. A rebound is a bandage, not a bond. She chooses a weaker man, one who worships her, because he soothes the wound to her ego. But what is easy is rarely respected. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the swarm is not good for the bee." By seeking comfort in weakness, she poisons herself. The man she clings to may give her attention, but he does not challenge her spirit. And a woman cannot respect what she can easily control. At first, she flaunts this new life, smiling, posting, showing the world she has moved on. Yet beneath the display lies emptiness. Epictetus reminded us, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. A new partner cannot erase the want she feels for what she lost. The strength of a man who walked away, and soon the mask of happiness slips. Boredom creeps in, respect fades, and her thoughts drift back to the one she tried to replace. But by then, the distance has already grown too wide. In the end, she realizes the truth too late. She traded strength for comfort, respect for control, and what she lost cannot be replaced. She begins to see that the man who walked away was not weak, he was free. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The man who has mastered himself is no longer a slave." And this is the heart of the lesson. True power is not found in clinging, but in letting go. A man who does not fear losing her becomes the man she can never forget. She may attempt to return, but by then, the roles have shifted. He no longer waits, no longer begs, no longer chases. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." For he is not permitted to prove himself. By walking away, he proved his strength not to her, but to himself. What once was her game has ended. The attention she once demanded no longer matters. The validation she once expected is gone. She looks back, but he has already moved forward. Epictetus reminded us, freedom is the right to live as we wish, and the man who walks away claims that freedom. This is the ultimate power, to be unreachable, untouchable, unbroken. To know that your value never depended on her approval. To live as the prize, not the pursuer. And when a man embodies this truth, he never loses again because he has mastered the one thing that cannot be taken from him, himself.